It is the dead of January. You go out to the coop the same as every morning. You lift the lids on the nesting boxes, and they are empty, cold and empty, the way they have been since the first hard frost. Your whole flock is shut down for the winter, and down at the store, a dozen eggs cost more than it ever has. But over in the corner, up on the roost, there is one hen who never got the message. While the rest of them quit, she is still laying 2, 3 eggs a week, right through the cold and the dark. That hen is an old breed, a breed your great-grandparents would have known by name, and one you will have a hard time even buying today. And there is a reason for that. If you have been with me, you know me. My name is Amish, and I keep my flock here in Holmes County, Ohio. And the bird I am going to tell you about today was born right here in this state, not an afternoon's drive from where I am sitting. I am going to tell you her name. I am going to tell you why she keeps laying when every other hen has quit, and why her comb never blackens in the cold. And I am going to tell you why you cannot find her at the feed store anymore, though near every farm once had her. There is one mistake most folks make trying to bring this bird back, and it has nothing to do with the weather. It is the very first step, and it is where almost everyone goes wrong. Stay with me for that, because it will save you a whole year of trouble. I keep a list of the old hardy breeds worth bringing back, and where to find honest stock, in the guide below this video. I will not mention it again. Let us get to the hen. The bird is the buckeye, named for the buckeye nut for her deep mahogany red and for the state of Ohio where she was made. And there is something worth knowing about her. She was bred up in the 1890s by a farm woman named Nettie Metcalf, who wanted a hen that could feed a family and stand a hard Ohio winter without fuss. To this day, she is the only American breed we know of that was created by a woman. She built this bird for exactly the life I am living, and for the life a good many of you are after. So why does she lay when the others stop? It comes down to how she is built. The first thing is her comb. A common hen wears a tall red comb that stands up off her head, and on the first hard night it blackens with frostbite. The buckeye wears what they call a pea comb, low and small and tight to her skull, with next to nothing for the frost to take hold of. The cold simply does not lay her low the way it does the rest. Under those feathers, she is a heavy, solid bird, built to hold her own heat. She is a tireless forager who feeds herself off the land half the year. She is calm by nature, so she does not fret and burn herself out. And she is famous in the old books as a mouser, keeping the grain shed clear the way a barn cat would. A bird like that does not pour out every egg she has in one good summer and then fall apart. She lays steady, close to 200 eggs across the year, and she keeps a few coming all through the winter when the rest have given up. She is a dual-purpose bird, too, which is the old way of keeping chickens. The hens give you eggs for years, and the extra cockerels give you good meat for the table. She goes broody when her time comes, sits her own clutch, and raises up the next batch without you buying a thing. One small flock of these, left to do what they know, will keep itself going year after year. That is what a chicken used to be, before she was turned into a machine that runs once and stops. So if she is all that, why is she near gone? Why did your feed store quit carrying her? The answer is the same answer as everything else on this channel. There was no money in her. When the big hatcheries took over, they did not want a steady hen that lasts. They wanted a number on paper. So they bred a hybrid that throws close to 300 eggs in her first year, and folks saw that number and were dazzled by it. But nobody printed the rest of the story. That hybrid burns herself out in a year or two and quits for good. She cannot take a real winter without a lamp run out to her. She cannot forage worth a thing, so she lives her whole life off a bag from the store. And she will never once go broody and hatch you a chick, so every spring you are right back ordering more. The Livestock Conservancy, the folks who keep track of the old breeds, had the buckeye listed as near lost not many years back. Not because she ever failed a soul, because she was too good, and there was nothing they could sell you alongside her. Now, the one mistake, I promised you this. If you go to bring this bird back to your own place, almost everyone goes wrong at the very first step. You go looking for the name. You find some place selling chicks under it, cheap, and you order a box. And what shows up is not the heritage bird at all. It is a watered-down production cross wearing the name, raised for a hatchery bin, with the hardiness and the foraging and the good steady laying mostly bred out of her. She has the name on the label and almost none of the bird underneath. You raise her up, she frostbites and quits like all the others, and you decide the old breed was no better after all, when the truth is you never had the old breed. So get your stock from a breeder who keeps the true line, one who can tell you about her parents, and not from the cheapest bin you can find. It is the same lesson as a jar with the right name printed on the front. The name on the label was never what you were after. You were after the bird. Start with a few good ones from honest stock, and you will have started right. Get her right, and look at what you have. A hen that lays you eggs through the winter when the store is charging dear for them. A bird that feeds herself off your land instead of out of your wallet. One that stands the cold with no lamp and no wire run to her. And best of all, a hen that hatches you the next batch herself, so your flock renews its own self year after year, and you are beholden to no one for it. That is more than a chicken. That is a flock that belongs to you, free and clear. And that in the end is the whole reason she was let go. A bird that lasts for years, feeds herself, and hatches her own replacements makes a family independent. And an independent family is a poor customer. The old breeds were never set aside for being worse. They were set aside for asking too little of you. And that is the very thing that ought to make you want her back. So here is what I would have you do. Look up a heritage breeder in your part of the country this winter, the buckeye or another of the old hardy breeds, and put in for a few come spring. Start small and let her prove herself to you. Then come tell me in the comments, what does your family keep? Does anyone where you live still raise the old heritage birds, the ones from before the hybrids? And if your grandparents kept hens, do you remember what they were? I read every single one. Next time, we are going to step out of the hen house. I am going to tell you about the little cow that gives a family all the milk, butter, and cheese it can use, on a patch of grass no bigger than a good garden, and why more and more folks are quietly going back to her. Until then, find the honest stock, start with a few, and let the old bird show you what we gave away. That is how the old folks did it, and that is how it is still done on any farm that would rather raise its own than keep buying it back.